We're back, guys. It's like we never left.
Here we go again. Well,
we were talking off camera and we were cut our conversation short because we were like, we need to record this. We need to record this because some people might relate to it, because we had a situation where Shaadi and I have different negative beliefs that impacted this show. So you guys are witnessing the drama, really. No, but we got onto the topic. I don't even remember why. And I was telling you that I have this sense of urgency. I have this lack mindset where I need to do everything now. Otherwise, I don't know. I won't do it maybe. Maybe I don't trust myself that I'll end up like following through with it. Or maybe I think that if I don't do it now, I won't be excited about it later. I don't know.
Someone else is going to do it.
Or someone else is going to do it for sure. Someone else is going to jump on this idea and I need to do this like right now. And it's pretty overwhelming having that belief that everything is urgent. It served me within my jobs when I first got out of college because I felt like I was told that I had a good work ethic and that that I always had a sense of urgency, that I always did it, now. But that ended up really causing me a lot of stress, a sense of urgency. And I feel like I've leveled out that work aspect, kinda. But now I'm seeing it manifest in different ways where I'm like, basically, we had this conversation about how many times we wanted to have an episode like per month, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we should do it every week, like every Thursday. Like, why not? Like, we should do it every week. And Shaadi was like, I think that we should do it every other week. And there was a level of fear that both of us felt.
Yeah, we both felt
What did you
fear.
feel?
So you were fearing that we weren't going to do it enough and it wasn't going to be enough. When I knew that you wanted to do it every week, I freaked out too. But mine was in the opposite direction because, first of all, I have a big fear of commitment.
Yeah.
And I just freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I overcommitted and I'm not going to be able to live up to this. I'm not going to be able to do this. And should I just quit right now? And also, Lauren doesn't even know that I have this fear of commitment. And now I'm thinking about all these other things in my mind that I didn't disclose to you before we went into this project together. And I'm like, we did it. We're in it. And yeah, I just started to go through this fear spiral.
Yeah, same. But literally, as you were talking, I was recognizing the underlying beliefs behind that, because every fear, there is basically an irrational belief behind it, right? And as you were saying, oh, Lauren wants to do it every week because it's not going to be enough. How many times like have I felt not enough? That like I need to do this, like I need to be, I don't know, better in order to have value, Like I need to do more. Like I need to suffer in order to be, I don't know.
Yeah, you need to do something to show that you're valuable, and that's not how it works. You are inherently valuable.
Thank you. Yeah.
You don't have to do anything to earn it or to be worthy of anything.
Yeah. No, of course, like rationally, it's that I know that. And I would say that to you, right? Like I would say that to anyone else struggling with that. But it's like when it comes to yourself, you can really be your own worst enemy. You can be your own worst enemy. Because just us talking about it and me reflecting on it, I know that when I was younger, because I think like a lot of beliefs, they're kind of ingrained from childhood, and we see evidence of it as we become older, and then it gets more and more ingrained. And as I was growing up, I felt like never was enough time. Like I felt like I had to talk quicker. Even now, like people say you talk so slow. And I've had to really be like, this is how I talk, like this is how I talk when I get excited about things. I talk a little bit faster, but that isn't really inherently bad,
Yeah, it's
like that I
not.
talk slow. If anything, it gives other people to have patience to listen to me. So I'm helping you. But like, yeah, growing up, I felt like everything needed to be fast, Like if I needed to be efficient, I needed to be fast. And if I didn't, I would be alone, Because like my worth was this is what I thought, of course. It's
Yeah,
not true.
yeah.
But it's like how worthy am I is like how helpful I can be, or like how entertaining I can be, or how I'm adding value to other people's lives in a way that's like measured, which
Yeah.
is crazy because would I ever tell that to anyone else? Would I ever say that to anyone else or think that about anyone else? No, I
No.
wouldn't. I would never.
Yeah, and it reminds me of that story you were telling me how you weren't feeling good one night and someone said, "Oh, Lauren's really serious because you weren't talking that much."
Yeah.
It happened to me one time too. I was just like, in a weird space or whatever. And I
Yeah.
went out to dinner with one of my friends and some other people. And I literally don't think I said a word the entire dinner. And I was like really self conscious about that. But at some
Yeah.
point, someone said something to my friend about me, like, oh, like, I actually don't remember specifically what they said, but something about me not talking.
Mhm.
And like I feel that same thing like, oh, I have to add something to this conversation to show that I'm smart and valuable and I'm worthy or whatever, that
Yeah.
I'm worth being here. Like, and
Yeah.
that's just not true. Sometimes I don't have something valuable to add to the conversation, and
Yeah.
that's okay. I don't need to.
And sometimes you just wanna observe. Sometimes, like, it is just enough, honestly, to just, like, be there and I don't know, like, show up. Like, I've
Yeah.
heard that before in movies, and I never really understood it. If basically along the lines of, like, well, if you didn't do anything that set out to do, at least you showed up, Like, at
Yeah.
least, like, you showed up and you made that much of an effort, and to me, I didn't ever understand that because 'cause I'm like, "That means nothing." I'm like, "You just showed up and what, you were just a body there?" Like, because that's what I believed,
Yeah.
That was, like, my belief. But now, again, like, I would never say that to anyone else. Like, I would never say
Yeah.
that to anyone else. You can show up for as much as you can in any space, and that is
Mhm.
enough?
Yeah.
But going back to, like, the sense of urgency aspect of it, because we basically both, yeah, had different fears based off of these limiting beliefs. But that has like translated into my relationships where I was telling you yesterday, like the love bombing. It's like all or nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's like everything is
Yeah,
connected.
everything.
Everything is connected. Where when I was younger, I would start off these relationships being like, okay, well, like, we like each other, so I'm gonna tell you everything that I like about you, and it's, like, so, like, chaotic, like, the energy is
Yeah.
so chaotic. It was just all or nothing. It was, like, always a sense of urgency, like, I need to figure out immediately if I like you, and, like, if I don't, then, like, I never wanna talk to you
Yeah.
again. Like, it was, like, everything was
Yeah.
so urgent, and I'm actually still working on that to this day, where even, like, with work, even with my work life, I'm like I have to really like sit down and like look at my to-do list and be like, okay, what is the priority? Because I want to do everything like all at once. I want to be like efficient. Like I want to Yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. It's a mess. But anyways, it's like also maybe that kind of fear of like, yeah, if we don't do it now, then
We'll lose his
people will,
chance.
yeah, like lose this chance in the interest, like um I'm trying to get at is like, well, if we don't do it now, people will forget. People forget
Yeah.
about us. And like, wow. Oh my God, could I cry?
Oh my
Maybe.
God, you just had a big aha.
Like, because that has translated to
Yeah.
relationships. Like, if I don't do this now, they'll be less interested in me. Oh my God, wait, I want to cry.
That's just not true anyways. If someone
Oh my God. Wow. God, I love to cry.
It feels good to
It
cry.
feels so good, especially when you come to like a realization, because Bashar, who's like a spiritual like channel, he talks about how like these negative beliefs are literally physical, like they literally have their own physical composition that gets stored in our body.
Yeah.
So when you cry, your tears are literally like releasing within that tear, flushing out like these negative beliefs. So when you come to, so a lot of times, like, when people will like cry over remembering like a past experience, it's literally because like they're flushing out like that negativity that's been stored in your body.
Yeah.
And when you crystallize water, you can actually see like what resonance it holds. If it's like happy tears, if it's sad tears, like you can literally see that. And so every time like I come to these like realizations, of course, like reflecting on something sad,
Yeah.
it still makes me happy because I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, I'm getting one step closer to like having that much more love for myself. Because when you think about like what I just said, like that's so irrational to think that like
Yeah.
if I'm not constantly at the top of someone's mind, then like they're going to lose interest in me, and I'm not worthy unless someone is interested or paying attention or like
Ooh.
deep breaths.
Yes, deep breaths.
But I'm sharing this without literally any embarrassment because I know
Yeah.
that other people also experience this. And some people may just not be like conscious of it, but I'm like, I know I'm not the only
You're
one,
definitely not the only
like,
one. I think so many people place their self-worth in other people's opinions of them. I mean, that's pretty common. And
yeah.
honestly, it's kind of what we're taught. I read something a long time ago, and it was just talking about how even telling someone that you're proud of them,
Mhm.
of course, your thought and intention is something positive. You're trying to give them some praise, but it's teaching them to value someone else's opinion of them. So
Mm.
like it was talking about what you should say, and especially like it was more like you're to dealing with children and stuff, but
Mhm.
you should say you should be so proud of yourself.
Because you're reminding me. Uh, we had like 2 chai teas today, so that might be why. Oh my God. But yeah, like you're reminding me. So I have a family member. I admire him so much that his praise has become like a drug. Oh my God. Damn, I'm just spilling all my secrets. So, which I don't know. I'm not even at a point where I think that that's like a terrible thing,
Yeah.
but like I see what you're saying and your point because I admire him so much for like the person that he is. I love him so much. I literally have had like dreams where he like comes into my dream and he's like, like in a bad situation and
Mm.
he just lifts the energy and I just like I'm
Wow.
so grateful that you're here. And it's like but again, we talked about in the last episode, relationships are a reflection of who we are and how we feel about ourselves. So there's even more gratitude that I feel within my relationship with him because I think this is this is me,
Yeah.
like this is an opportunity for me to also bring out those things that I know are within myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like when I get like praise from him or like, oh, this is like, this was, oh, I love this. You did a great job. Like whatever, et cetera, et cetera. I feel so validated. Like, yes, someone who I really admire loves the things that I'm doing, that I'm like producing, like that, gives me like this affirmation, this confirmation. Wow, you did a great presentation. That's how you know it is. And but then I got to the point because I love to think. I got to the point where I was like, if he ever was like, actually, I don't think that I could, I don't think that I or like, "Oh, I just said those things so that you could feel better," or like, "Oh, like, it was okay." Like, if I found out that, like, he was
Oh.
not being honest or something, like, I realized that, like, that would really hurt me. And I thought, like, that's really scary because I don't ever wanna look for, like, all this, like, validation outside of myself, like, to other people, from other people, because I wanna find that within myself. I wanna be,
Mhm.
like get to the point where I am validating myself to the degree that, like, it means as much as if it came from him,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
wouldn't that
know.
be freaking
Yeah.
magical?
Yeah.
Um and because there's a part of it that's like, "Oh, wow, I feel validated by someone that, like, I wanna be like," that I really admire. But again, that could be a positive too because it's like I'm seeing all this goodness in him that is just a reflection of myself,
Yeah.
if I look at it from that perspective. He is
Yeah.
just me validating
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, but there is, like, a sense of, like, I did something good and like my inner child being like, you
Yeah.
did a good thing. And the reward is like this validation basically.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel good to get that validation. It does.
Yeah.
But I think when we rely on external validation,
Yeah.
then that becomes maybe not the healthiest.
Yeah, because I sent him something and he was like, "Yeah, like," he was like, "Yeah, like, looks good." And I was like, "Looks good?" I was like,
Oh.
"It looks good? Like, you don't love this? I thought that you would love
Oh
it."
my god.
I know. Okay, I'm sounding like that's crazy now, but, like, that's I think the point that I was like, "That's not healthy for me to just, like,
Yeah.
rely so much on, yeah, the external validation." Because, like, at the end of the day, yeah, like, it's nice to feel that someone that you love, appreciates you or whatever. Um, and says like, "Hey, like, yeah, yeah, you should feel proud of yourself,"
Yeah.
right? That feels good. But then when it gets to a point of like, this person needs to validate me, and that happens within romantic relationships too,
Yeah,
right? Where it's
totally.
like yeah, just like really like, whatever, admire someone so much that you're like, I need this validation. Do you feel like you get validation?
I feel like I do get validation in my life and it does feel good, but a lot of the times I'm not seeing
What they're
100%.
saying?
Yeah, like, and I just think, oh, these people love me and they're trying
Oh,
to,
yeah, yeah.
and they want me to feel good, and they do believe the things that they're telling me, but I don't 100% always feel like I am exactly what they're saying.
Is that just for your family and the people that are close to you? Because you think like, oh, well, they love me, so they have to
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
that or something.
I guess so. That's more like the people close to me.
When we were with like our friends for that weekend, and we went around and we
Oh,
gave
yeah.
compliments
I
to
know
each
that
other.
was that made me uncomfortable. I mean, it didn't make me uncomfortable. I love to give compliments to other people, but like
Right, but to
receiving
receive it.
compliments, I do feel really uncomfortable with that, honestly.
So the context of that is that we were had like a weekend getaway with our friends, and I thought that that was so special because like who does that? Like who says like let's just sit around the couch and like give everyone a
I know, it
compliment.
honestly was really nice.
Like it was so special. I told my mom about it later and she's like, "Wow, like what?" Like it's not, I guess, normal, but it was so beautiful. Like it was a beautiful sentiment, but it was uncomfortable in a way. And but those are people that haven't known you for your whole life. I think like
Yeah.
we've known them all a year,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
maybe that or more. So how did you feel when you were getting those compliments?
Well, okay, it does feel awkward to me, but I do feel like it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to the point of not knowing them that long sometimes. I mean, whatever, a year isn't that short of a period of time, but, sometimes it is fun to be around newer people because you can discover new parts of yourself,
Mm.
and especially in, like, something like that because some of them, I think we did compliments, but we also did, like, first impressions of each other,
Mhm.
and so it's just interesting to see what other people think
Mhm.
in a neutral, loving environment.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
did you think that they were being honest? Because they
Yeah.
don't know you long enough to be like, "Oh, they're just saying that because they
I
love
do. I
you."
think that they were being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. How did you feel
I don't even really
about
remember.
that?
The only thing I remember is Benny saying that I was a fashionista. I don't remember
I
what
think
anyone
that's
else said,
so funny. Yeah, I
but
don't actually remember
that
the
was so
specifics.
funny to me
I
because
think
I
that's
was just like,
hilarious.
"Am I?" Like, I don't know. I just thought that was so funny. I've had actually at my work's party, I got a little award that said like, um, this award is like the Dress to Kill award. It's like given to
Ooh.
Lauren, and I was just like, really? Like, I don't know. I feel like I wear the same thing every day, but okay, I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it. But anyways, that was the only thing that I really remember. And but I think like everything else that was said or how I felt like in the moment of that was like honestly I felt more pressure like giving other people compliments because I just felt like how do you sum up a person
Yeah.
in like a
It's
couple
really
of
hard.
words, cuz like yeah, like how do you sum up, and I also have a bad memory, so it's like, oh, something that I would have like said, to you had maybe I should start writing this stuff down.
Yeah, I need to start writing things down too.
Yeah, because, I was talking to my friend about this. Like, we're like, we should give people more compliments. Like when we see them walk down the street, you're like, oh, like a girl that's like wearing a really cute dress, or, someone who
Mhm.
looks, really pretty that day, or, when you see like a bride and you're like, "Hey, you look gorgeous."
Yeah.
Just like little supportive comments to like give people compliments because I don't know if you've ever given a stranger a compliment,
Yeah, I
but like
love to do
they light up.
that.
It's like so, and makes you feel
I
good
know it
too. Like it
does.
feels like satisfying because you're just like, wow, like I really
And it's
made
something
someone's
that you
day.
genuinely noticed about them.
Yeah.
That's when I give the compliment, but I love to do that. It feels good. Obviously, it makes them feel good and it makes you feel good.
Yeah. And how many times do you think nice things about someone and like just don't really say it
Yeah.
just because it's just like, oh, well, that's just like my thoughts and whatever, carry on with my day.
Yeah.
But I've thought so many nice thoughts about people that I never tell them.
Yeah.
Like I've even had like someone be like, "Oh, like could you tell like, an hour into hanging out with them, like, "Oh, could you tell that I don't like got a haircut or something?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I know like there was something that was different about you that like made you like you looked really nice and like fresh and but I just didn't think to say it.
Yeah.
So like how many other times are people thinking nice things about you and they don't tell you, just never know. I'm sure a lot. But it always feels good. Like at the end of the day, like it does feel good to
Mhm.
have people like see you
Recognize
and
someone. Yeah,
yeah.
to be seen
Yeah, and
feels
just like
good.
recognize something to just
Yeah.
give you a little boost, a little boost.
Yeah, I was actually talking to someone about the party that we went to for New
Yeah.
Year's, and
The
they were
orgy.
exactly.
I mean,
And they were like, "How did you feel at the party on a scale of invisible to fully seen?" I
interesting.
know, it was really interesting. It just made me think because
Yeah.
going out anywhere and feeling completely invisible, that I don't know, doesn't feel like the greatest
Mhm.
thing. And if you can acknowledge someone in any little way, I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah. Agreed, because it also, like, creates a sense of connection too. I think it's
Too.
an inherent feeling that we all want to feel connected, you
Yeah.
know? And so when you go out and you acknowledge someone, there's an immediate connection there, right? Like, you're immediately partaking in someone else's, like, energy field to,
Yeah.
like, have this conversation and connect in that way. So it's like yeah, making someone else feel seen and understood is a way that we build connection and we build more love in our lives. It's pretty simple. It's pretty
Yeah.
simple. But do I always put that into practice? No.
No, of course
No.
not.
Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, because we all sometimes like are in our own thoughts too. So
Oh, yeah.
it just feels like a little bit of work to
Yeah.
get out of there, but still, I think everything is like grounded in connection, love, freedom. And a lot of the times, like that validation is like, it feels good because there's connection and there's love within there that we're receiving from someone else. But again, like that's something that we can receive ourselves, that we can give ourselves,
Mhm.
but it also feels good when it's coming from someone else too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, this may not be completely related, but it just makes me think about, this um desire for connection, but then some of these like spiritual sages who just go off and live by themselves in a cage because they are so
Mm.
completely aware of their connection with every living person. They don't have to be
Mm.
physically with those people to feel the connection.
Mhm.
Like, I just think it's so interesting to think about
It is.
because even when we're alone, we really are with everyone.
That's so true. That's so true. I don't remember what episode that we talked about how the universe loves you so unconditionally that it will allow you to have the belief that you are not connected to the
Yeah.
universe,
Yeah.
but you are. You always
You always
are.
are.
Like you always are, and even within being like in this physical people will think like, oh, well, I'm not connected to the spiritual because like I'm here on earth. And then once I die, like I go to heaven, then I'm connected to the spiritual. You're still connected right now.
Yeah.
Like you're still connected right now. You're still spirit. You're
You
still,
are a spirit. Everything
yeah.
else is an illusion.
Yeah. Everything else is an illusion. Like you're never not connected.
Yeah.
But we are given that chance to have the illusion of disconnection in order to experience like this life
Mhm.
and raise our consciousness, raise our awareness, and come back to the knowing that we are connected,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
It feels like a social experiment, like, doesn't
It's
it?
all an experiment. That's when you start to think that it's a simulation, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
Well, it
again,
is. I was actually talking to some people about this because there's this I love watching those videos where people have those near death
oh
experiences.
yeah.
Oh my god, it feels like I don't know. Like I'm being reborn watching these videos. But basically like there was this woman and she was talking about how like she had this near death experience where basically she died and, came back to life. Um and she was talking about how when she woke up or sorry, when she died, she felt like she was waking up from a dream. So she's like on the other side
Mm.
now and she's with like her guides and stuff. And she felt like she was waking up from a dream. And she was like, whoa, like looking back on my life on earth, that wasn't even real. Like that wasn't
Yeah.
real. I mean, it felt real and it was like real in its own right. But when she died, like I literally
This
had
is all a
chills.
dream.
She was like, it was all a dream. And then she came back to earth and, into her physical body. And she was telling people, she was like having a dream on earth, as like a human in this physical body. And then, you wake up from a dream, you're like, oh, okay, that was just a dream. Like that wasn't real. Whew, okay, there's no ramifications for anything that happened in that dream, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said that that was the exact same thing, except it was like, so now you're like waking up from a dream in a dream. I've never seen Inception. Maybe that's what have you seen that movie?
I've seen it, but like it was
Okay, I've never seen
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
I
I
just know that
really don't know that much. Yeah,
he
yeah.
wake
It's
up
like
from
a
a
dream and a
dream.
dream and a dream. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she was like, that felt real. Anyways, that's all to say that that's how I've been seeing life, I guess, more so of like, okay, well, this is literally a dream to experiment with who I want to be and having this like remembrance of who I truly am,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun if you want to think about it in a fun way. It can
It
be
is
fun. If you want to
fun.
think about it in a scary way, it's going to be scary,
Yeah.
But I choose to think of it in a fun way of like, okay, well, like let me experiment with how I'm reacting in this situation. And then what's the outcome? Does this
Yeah.
make me feel better? Does this make me feel better?
Yeah.
Because I literally had a dream a couple weeks ago where I couldn't tell if I was in a dream. Like everything was going wrong. And so that's usually
Oh,
how like
yeah.
my mind knows like you're in a dream
Yeah.
because this is like hell. And so everything's going wrong. Everything's going wrong. And in the dream, I'm like, I feel like this has to be a dream because everything is going wrong, but I don't know if it is. So, you know what? I'm just going to say fuck it. Like I'm just going to go about this as though like I'm in a dream, and if it's not, then whatever. Like what's
Yeah.
going to happen either way? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so then I ended up like going up to this girl and I was like, "Hey, like, I know there's some animosity between us, like, because you know me, I don't love confrontation." So I was like, "I feel like there's some animosity between us. Like, what's going on?" Like, and it was her like house party. And and she was like, "What?" Like, I don't know, whatever, giving me like attitude in my dream. And I was just like, well, this hurt me. And if I did this and I want to, whatever, I'm just like confronting the
Mhm.
situation so that we can get through it.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to work through it with me in my dream. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need to be here. Like, if this is real or this is a dream, I can just leave. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like, what? And then I leave and then I wake up and I was like kind of proud of myself. I was kind of proud of myself in that dream because I was like, that dream was still my subconscious and it could have just been a way for me to
To
practice,
practice.
literally to practice for
Totally.
this reality
Yes.
because it was still like me
Mhm.
doing that,
Yeah,
So it's
it
just another
was.
opportunity for me to like strengthen that communication, I guess.
That's great. You're getting practice in your sleep.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
literally.
I love that.
Literally. So, yeah. So this is all a dream.
It's all a dream.
You're getting sleepy. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. That
I
is
also
fun.
feel like I'm in a dream right now. Do you ever feel
Yeah, I do feel like I'm in a dream sometimes.
so yeah, do you ever feel like this doesn't feel real?
I
Like
feel, yeah, I do feel like sometimes this doesn't feel real, but more often what I feel is I have a memory and I can't remember if it was in a dream or if it was real life.
I have that too. I for sure have that too.
Yeah.
And the experiences that feel like a dream, if you connect it with what I was saying about, this reality kind of being like a
A
simulation or
dream.
like a
Yeah.
dream, it's actually when you feel like you're in a state where you're having a dream, or sorry, you feel like you're in a dream state in this reality, but you're like, okay, I know this is real, but like it feels like a dream. It's actually just because you're ascending into higher like levels. You're ascending into higher levels of energy where you're coming closer to like that line of
Mm,
who you really are as spirit. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
it's like if we're here like on this plane of existence within the 3D.
You're like detaching from the 3D and
Yeah.
actually recognizing the dream.
Yeah, isn't that so cool? Isn't that
Yeah.
so cool? Because it's like, yeah, you're coming to a place of remembering that, yeah, like this is a dream. Um, which is really fun to think because I've had experiences where I actually felt scared, like, am I not grounded in reality? Like, yeah, you weren't. You weren't, but like in a fun way where you were just coming closer to like your spirit, or
Yeah.
like you were ascending in that
Yeah.
way. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a fun way to look at it. You can flip anything into a fun
Yeah,
thing.
anything can be fun.
I think that's one of the things that I'm like more proud of myself recently because I can flip anything into a positive.
That's
Like,
a
for
that's a
example,
real skill. It honestly is.
yeah, like my dad had a flat tire the other day. And he was like, "Oh, I set the morning off like terrible. Like I had a flat tire." And I just thought, literally the first thing I thought of was like, well, um, what if the universe was using the flat tire so that you couldn't get to this one destination that maybe could have
Yes,
been
they were
worse?
preventing something on the road or,
Yeah. Yeah, like
they were
preventing
protecting
something.
you.
Exactly, like a protection. Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
better way to say it. Where, yeah, they were protecting you from not getting where, like, you needed to be for whatever reason. Um, and then it was cute because he like responded saying, wow, I really love that perspective. Because
That's sweet.
sometimes when you say that to people, they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, I know. They're like, "I don't
Yeah.
wanna be positive right now, okay? Let me
Yeah.
stew in this
I've heard that a few
problem."
times where they're like, I just want to be upset. Like, just let me feel
Yeah.
my feelings. And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sorry. But that's how I want to think about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to think about everything just being like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. I know. That sucks. That's what sucks.
Yeah, like
Thinking about everything like that. That
yeah,
sucks.
right?
Yeah.
Like yeah. So if you ever meet, write down in the comments below. I can turn anything.
If you need a situation flipped, let
Yeah.
us know.
Oh my god. I should put that like on my resume. A situation flipper, like
Yes.
a perspective flipper.
Yes.
A perspective flipper. Yeah. I have my degree
I
in
like that.
PF.
PF.
uh, and it's fun too. Because here's the thing. You don't even know if it's real. You don't know if it's real. You don't know if it's true. Like,
Yeah.
you could be like, oh, well, I got this F in this class and now I need to retake it, And you
Yeah.
could be like, well, this sucks because now I can't get my degree. Whatever, whatever the case is that we think like this should have led to this and have an expectation that this is going to be here, this is going to be here. Well, it could just be because you needed one more month to meet this friend who you end up
Yeah.
going into business with to do something that you're more passionate about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you literally don't know.
Yeah, we
That's
don't
the
know.
unknown.
Yep. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun in here. Come and join us.
It's fun. Everyone's invited. Everyone's invited.
The water's warm.
Yeah. As long as you surrender.
You have to surrender, otherwise the water's cold.
Surrender, guys. Just surrender.
We'll see you guys next time. Next episode, next podcast.
Stick around for more. Bye.
Bye.